Cowboys loss was a little interesting. It was almost like they cut a small hole in the bottom. And, it'll get bigger or it'll close as the season continues to go on.
The Broncos?
No, I'm saying the Broncos cut a small hole in the bottom of the Cowboys, and either they're going to close it or they're going to let it expand. You didn't anticipate, based on what Denver did over the last week, getting rid of players, moving on from top guys like Von Miller. You just felt like they've kind of packed it in a little bit, and I think that's the way the Cowboys kind of approached it as, they're not really out here to play. Then all of a sudden you look up and it was 30-0. Sort of like the Bills and the Jags. You fall into that sleepwalk and you get caught standing there and not having an answer for the punches that they're throwing. And that's what happened with the Cowboys and the Broncos, as well as the Bills and the Jags. And if you ask me if they run it back tomorrow, can the Cowboys beat them? I would bet my money on the Cowboys if they ran it back tomorrow.
Bizarre to me, Jay, is if the Cowboys would have been at Denver, I'd have been like, all right, that can happen at Denver. It's a tough place to play, thinner air and this and that. And Denver got them at Cowboys.
But Jerry's world is not a home field advantage.
Right, because there's always a lot. It's not the same kind of crowd home field advantage. I still would rather play them if I'm the Cowboys at Dallas than at Denver.
Agree. Look, coming off a bye week, Dak, right, everything that he had to go through. If you look at their last couple of games, I mean, I think they surrendered like 28 points to Carolina, 29 points to New England. So that defense is still a work in progress, right? I mean, the defense has gotten better than what it was last year because it was historically bad last year. But I guess the loss was shocking to me, but it's still one of those things that with the Cowboys, you're like, all right, I still feel like I know who the Cowboys are. I don't think they're that bad as what they showed yesterday.
You know what I'm wondering about, Key, from your point of view? I mean, Parsons was great two games ago. Trayvon Diggs, well, like they kept targeting him and he kept coming away with the ball, right? And I was thinking at a certain point when his value goes through the roof is when they just stop target. He really shuts down a guy.
When you talk about Trayvon Diggs, Mike Zimmer said it a week ago. We're not getting ready to put this dude into the Hall of Fame based on what y'all talking about because we don't see it that way. And I think a lot of coaches in Denver Broncos and their receivers are really good, and they didn't see it that way. They saw him as a good young prospect who's coming up over time, but they're certainly not going to all of a sudden decide to say, well, he's going to have half the field and we're not going to his side. Sometimes they say, where is 7? Because what we see is the highlights. They're watching and breaking down the technique, and they're saying to themselves, we're going to throw at him.
I agree with you. I think probably Denver beating the Cowboys because in any one is a bigger surprise because at any one point to me in the NFL and Key, I know it's not exactly this number because like your real ranking, sometimes you have 17, sometimes 5. It's a different number.
Put 40 this week.
Right, like it depends.
College in there.
There's no arbitrary number, but let's just say for argument's sake, at any given time, any given week in the NFL, there are 4 or 5-ish good teams.
Yeah, Cowboys are one of them.
Good teams, and there are 4 or 5-ish bad teams.
Cowboys
and the rest
are
in the
one
middle somewhere. But the Cowboys do look like one of the good teams.
They are. The Rams are one of the good ones. The Packers, the the Buccaneers.
But the Titans nowadays, maybe they're in the middle, but in the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've looked like one of the good ones. The Broncos just look like a kind of middle-pack team.
Yeah, the Broncos are a middle-pack team. They're just for me, they're at the bottom of the pack.
Bottom of the middle.
Bottom of the middle.
Yeah.
Bottom of the middle of the pack. The Cowboys are a good team. The problem with them is expectations are so high that the moment that something goes left, I can only imagine what Michael Irvin and Stephen A. going to be doing on First Take today. I can only imagine. This is right up Stephen A.'s alley. He got an opportunity now to just go and punch Michael really good because the Cowboys lost at home.
It's out of the ordinary when a guy misses 2 or 3 weeks or doesn't play for 2 or 3 weeks, comes off an injury, and plays well. But I think everyone's like, well, you can't use that as an excuse. But can you use it, Key, as an explanation? 2 or 3 weeks you don't play, and then all of a sudden you're coming off an injury and you may not play. And you're facing a Fangio defense and everything. You may not play well.
Yeah, you might not. Losing timing in practice is different than timing in the game because everything is sped up. So the speed is different. You see things different. Some of the things that you may have seen in practice that you thought that that's what the defense was going to do and you hit it in practice because it was easy, you're going up against air or you're going up against defensive players that's going 65%, where they're going 100% in games. So things are just faster. Windows are closing faster, where in practice, your windows stay open forever. You back there all day long, just really, nobody's hitting you. There's no rush.
No fear factor, really.
Nothing. It's a totally different situation in games, but I'm not worried about the Cowboys. I am not worried about the Cowboys one bit.
The Rams on the
and
other
I'm not
hand,
worried about the Rams either.
I'll say this: the Rams did get manhandled up front, and Stafford and that offense, when they're clicking, it's like everything's coming out smooth and easy. It's just going, and they got, I don't know, for lack of a better word, disrupted. But the Titans' defense, that was the softest defense in the league beginning of the season.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.